That evening, the sky over the city was a blend of deep orange and soft purple, signaling the end of another bustling day. The streets were alive with the hum of traffic, the flickering neon lights of small shops, and the murmur of people heading home. Among them was Sora, her steps hurried, her heart heavy with frustration. She had stormed out of her house after a heated argument with her mother, the harsh words still echoing in her mind. The cool evening air did little to soothe her anger. As she walked aimlessly, she reached into her pockets and realized she had left in such a rush that she had no money with her. A wave of regret washed over her, but she was too stubborn to turn back. As she wandered through a narrow street lined with small food stalls, the rich aroma of steaming broth and freshly cooked noodles filled the air. Her stomach growled, a painful reminder of her hunger. Her feet slowed as she passed a small noodle shop, its warm glow spilling onto the pavement. Inside, a middle-aged man stood behind the counter, expertly ladling hot soup into bowls for waiting customers. She hesitated at the entrance. Her body craved the warmth of food, but her pride kept her where she was. The vendor, noticing her shaky stance, called out to her in a kind voice, "Hey, little girl, do you want a bowl of noodles?" Sora looked down, embarrassed. "But I don't have any money," she admitted shyly. The vendor smiled, his face kind and understanding. "It's all right. Come in, I'll treat you." Her eyes widened in surprise. Slowly, she stepped inside and took a seat at the counter. The vendor moved quickly, his hands deftly tossing noodles into boiling water, adding slices of meat and fragrant herbs. Within minutes, he placed a steaming bowl in front of her. As soon as she took her first bite, the warmth spread through her, easing the cold knot in her stomach. The rich flavors melted on her tongue, bringing unexpected tears to her eyes. The vendor noticed her wiping her face and asked gently, "What's wrong?" Sora shook her head, her voice thick with emotion. "Nothing. I'm just touched by your kindness," she said softly. "Even though you don't know me, you gave me a meal, but my own mother, after our fight, threw me out of the house. She's so cruel." The vendor sighed, setting down the ladle in his hand. "Child, why do you think that way?" he asked. "I only gave you a bowl of noodles, and you already feel grateful. But think about your mother. She has raised you since you were little, given you food, cared for you every day, given you a warm home. Why have you never felt thankful for her?" Sora was stunned. She had never thought about it like that before. A bowl of noodles from a stranger had moved her to tears, yet she had taken her mother's love for granted all these years. The realization struck her like a wave, washing away her anger and leaving only deep regret. She quickly finished her meal, thanked the vendor with all her heart, and rushed home. The street seemed different now, less cold, more familiar. Her heart pounded as she climbed the steps to her house, uncertain of what she would say. At home, his mother anxiously looked around every corner, calling her name. From outside the gate, she faintly heard the loud call. Before she could knock, the door swung open. Her mother stood there, her face filled with worry, her eyes red from searching. The moment she saw Sora, relief flooded her expression. "Sora, come inside, honey. You must be hungry. I made dinner. It's still warm." At that moment, all of Sora's stubbornness crumbled. She ran into her mother's arms, tears spilling freely. "Mom, I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I know I was wrong. Please forgive me." Her mother hugged her tightly, smoothing her hair. "It's all right, sweetheart. I'm just glad you're home." As they stepped inside, the warmth of home wrapped around Sora, filling her with a newfound appreciation for the love that had always been there, unspoken but unwavering. We often take the love and sacrifices of our closest family for granted, only realizing their true value when faced with an outsider's kindness. A small act of generosity from a stranger opened Sora's eyes to the unconditional care and devotion her mother had given her throughout her life. Gratitude should not be reserved for fleeting moments of kindness, but should extend to those who love and support us unconditionally every day.